Hi, my name is Dara Torres, and I'm a former Olympic swimmer, although Olympians don't like to be called former, so let's just say retired. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, and hopefully you'll be inspired by it. So I started swimming at a very, very early age. I had four older brothers, and whatever they would do, I do. So when they started swimming, I started swimming. I just really fell in love with the sport. And what happened was when I was about 17, finished my junior year in high school, I made my first Olympic team in 1984. It was a great experience, kind of different when you see it through the eyes of a 17-year-old and then you fast forward to my last Olympics at 41 and see it through the eyes of a 41-year-old. But it was an unbelievable experience. Won a gold medal, was super happy in front of my hometown crowd in Los Angeles. Then 4 years later, I swam in the 88 Olympics in Seoul, Korea, won a silver and bronze there. And then I thought I was kind of done, graduated college, got back into swimming because I missed it a lot and went for what I thought was my last Olympic Games in 1992 in Barcelona. I won a gold there, and all those four medals were all on relays. And so I never really got that individual gold, which really bothered me, but I was like, you know what? They called me the grandma on the team in 92, and I felt like I was old at 25. You didn't really see a lot of athletes outside of college going to Olympic Games. So I thought I needed to hang up my suits to dry, retire, and get a job. So I did that. I was living in New York for about 7 years and was doing some modeling, doing some TV, and just really enjoying life. And then about a year before the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, Australia, I got the itch again and decided that I wanted to train for my fourth Olympic Games. Now, I won't even tell you what they called me at 33 years old, training for an Olympic Games, but it was something that I just really wanted to do. I felt like no one's done it before, taking that much time off and coming back. Not a lot of people could say they have been in 4 Olympic Games, and I just thought it would be a great goal to try to do that. So I went to those Olympic Games. I actually swam 5 events there, 3 individual events. I won 3 bronze in the individual events and 2 golds in the relay. And I'll never forget my last relay. I was up on the awards podium. We got that gold medal, and I'm standing there, and the national anthem starts to play, and the American flag starts to rise up. And I started crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't cry. You know you're not supposed to cry. You kind of don't want to show your emotions on the award stand. You just want to be happy. And I was crying, and I didn't know if it was happy tears or sad tears. But when I started to figure out why I was crying, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have a job when I get home. What am I going to do? And literally that's what I was thinking is I don't have a job to go home to. I just swam in my 4th Olympic Games and I have no work. So I was really kind of bummed. We get off the awards podium. We sort of do our victory lap, going to drug testing. And I come out of drug testing and there's a reporter there. And I was one of the last ones out of the Sydney arena. And there was a reporter there. And as I was walking by, I kind of said hi. They said, excuse me, Miss Torres, we have been waiting and waiting to talk to you. Can we interview you? I'm like, yeah, I don't have anything else going on right now. And so he turned the camera on, stuck the microphone in my face, and started asking me a bunch of questions, interviewing me. And then the last question he asked was, okay, you just took 7 years off. You made this comeback, came back at 33 years old. You won 5 Olympic medals. Are you going to do this again in another 8 years in 2008? And I looked at him and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the stupidest question I've ever heard. And I walked away. Needless to say, I'm still trying to find him to apologize because I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would be swimming again in my 40s. 40s just seem very old. So fast forward about 5 years, 6 years, I have my daughter and I was just swimming for exercise, just really enjoying it. And I don't know, one thing kind of led to another, and I got the itch again to start training for another Olympic Games. And I wasn't really sure how I was going to do it because I had this newborn at home, this infant, and how was I going to be a great mother and take care of my child and also train for an Olympic Games. And so I really looked to working parents out there as my inspiration to know that you can go and do what you love to do. And for me, my work was swimming, which I loved, and also be a great parent to your child. And I really just found a schedule that worked best for myself and my daughter. And so, I started training a little less than 2 years before the '08 Olympics in Beijing. I was in Coral Springs, Florida, and was really, really enjoying it. But, when I first got into it, there were 2 kinds of people that I would encounter. The first one was the type that would say, you're too old to do this. Why are you doing this? And the second one was really just my mom and my family that were like, oh, if anyone can do it, you can do it. And so, I started thinking about it when I decided to make this comeback and hadn't really started the training yet. And I thought, you know what? If Jack Nicklaus can win a Masters at 46 years old and Nolan Ryan could pitch a no-hitter at 44 years old, why can't a 41-year-old mom try for an Olympic team? And so that's really what my philosophy was to just think that I can do it. And I'll never forget when I finally started my first workout, the first thought that stayed in my head the entire time that I was training was that I'm going to win a gold medal. That was my goal. And every day when I woke up, I thought about that. And every day when I went to bed, I thought about that. Now, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I didn't know how my body would hold up at 41 years old. I remember one of my first workouts, I had teenagers in my lane, and we just finished a set and had a couple minutes before our next set. And one 15-year-old turned to the 17-year-old and said, so who are you taking to the prom? And the other girl was like, I think I'm getting my ears pierced. And then I was thinking, God, what diapers do I need for my daughter? She's getting bigger. So there was really sort of a little bit of a disconnect, having these teenagers in the pool. And I was 39 years old when I started this training. But it was also a good setting and good mesh because they didn't want someone older than their parents beating them in the pool. And I didn't want some young whippersnappers beating me. So it really turned into a good environment for us to train together. So I didn't know how I was going to do this. I knew that if I was going to do this and make an Olympic team, it was going to be something special. And I knew I had to put a team together in order to do this. I could not do this by myself. So I did some research and did some interviewing and found the best stretching trainers, found the best strength coach, found a coach and a sprint coach that I was working with, all in the area that I lived. And the great thing about this was that I surrounded myself with people who were the best at what they did, but also didn't have an ego. This was a team effort. I wasn't doing this by myself. We were all doing it. My job happened to be the last part, which was standing on the starting blocks and swimming my race, but it was really, truly a team effort. And like I said, if I knew I wanted to be special, I had to put a special team together. And so I never think I did this by myself. It was always people helping me. And it's very important to allow people to help you to be the best that you can be. So I trained for these Olympic Games. It was a lot different than I'd ever experienced. I was doing less workouts than I did when I was younger because my body couldn't handle doing more training. That was very hard mentally for me because I was used to always doing more than everyone else. And I thought, well, if I do more than everyone else, I'm going to be the best that I can be. And as you get older, it's a little different when you're in a sport that you really can't do more than everyone else because your body just won't allow it. So it was really important for myself to listen to my body, but also the most important thing was to believe in my coach, believe in everyone who was helping me on this team, the stretching trainers, my strength coach, everyone. You had to believe and buy into what they're doing because if you question things, which is okay, you can go up and ask some questions, but if you're doing it and not communicating of what's going on and you don't believe in what they're doing, you're not going to be the best that you can be. So I really bought into what my coaches were telling me I can do and what the training was. And that was really important. So I ended up making my fifth Olympic team. It was very different for me because I was so much older than everyone else on this team. I remember we made the team and went right to training camp. And I thought to myself, wow, like, am I the mother here? Am I the older sister or the aunt? Because I was literally older than some of the coaches that were coaching on the team. And I like to refer to myself as a bigger sister than the mom, but Michael Phelps kept calling me mom since his first Olympics in 2000. So I kind of went with mom, I guess. But anyway, it was so different for me because I remember one time I woke up to loud music in the hotel room and I'm like, I'm trying to nap, who's playing the boombox? And I get out and I knock on the door. I'm saying, I'm trying to sleep. This is like my age kicking in here. And I remember just having some food fights in the cafeteria where we ate. And so it was just really different for me being on this team. But I'll never forget when we landed in Beijing for 2008 and walking into the cube, which was what the pool was called when we went to the pool, and just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this is so great to be back at the Olympic Games. And the other kids were kind of running around and doing whatever, but I really just kind of took a step back and realized, wow, I'm at the Olympic Games again. This is awesome. So anyway, I swam the first relay, won a silver medal. was getting ready for my last race, which was the 50 freestyle. It's my best race, one lap, you say, kind of one and done. And I was psyched about it. But the night before my race, I remember watching Michael Phelps swim the 100 butterfly, and he was losing, and he was trying to go for 7 gold medals, possibly 8. And this would have been his 7th gold medal. And I remember watching, and he was literally losing the whole entire race. And just at the very end, it still looked like he lost, but he stretched in there and out-touched this other swimmer by 1/100th of a second. I thought to myself, wow, I would hate to lose by 100th of a second. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world. Okay, now fast forward to my next race. I swam in the finals, and I remember marching out, getting ready for my race. And what I did that morning is I did everything I possibly could to prepare myself. I was the first one at the pool. I was, warming up. I got stretched. I did everything I was supposed to do, because it's not just important to do everything leading up to that race. It's important to do everything you possibly can the day of the race too. So I get on the blocks. I swim my 50 freestyle. I touched the wall. I was seated first going into the finals. And let me tell you, I was actually 5th in the world going into this event at the Olympic Games. But when I swam the prelims and semifinals, I qualified first. This is the first time I've ever been in that situation. So anyway, I swim my race. I touch the wall. Now I have really old eyes, so I put my goggles up and I look at the scoreboard, and it says I got 2nd place. I'm like, all right, my best individual event was a bronze. That's okay. And then I look and see what the time was, and I see that this girl beat me by 100th of a second. I'm like, now I know what it feels like to lose by 100th of a second. It took me a while to really get over this loss, because I'm such a competitive person, and I didn't know how I was going to live with the fact that I lost by 100th of a second. And I'll never forget, on my flight home from Beijing, I was thinking, I had 17 hours, I think, on this flight. And I was thinking, you know what? I have my 2-year-old daughter waiting for me at home. Why am I going to be upset? I have everything to look forward to, because I have my daughter as my life, and she's waiting for me at home. And I thought to myself, you know what? Did I give it everything that I possibly could? The answer was yes. Did I leave no stones unturned? The answer is yes. Did I eat and sleep the way I was supposed to eat and sleep? The answer is yes. Did I have to be okay with the fact that I lost by 100th of a second? And what I started to do was, when I realized that I was okay with that, I started to think, you know what? I didn't lose by 100th of a second. I won a silver medal in the Olympic Games, my 3rd silver medal in these Olympic Games. And the other medal came in a relay too. So I had 2 relays, silver medals, and the 50 freestyle. And I had to be okay with that. I had to be okay with that, because I gave it everything I had, and there was nothing else I had left to give. And when I landed and saw my daughter, obviously that was the most special thing for me. But I knew that I was going to teach her one day that as long as you give it all you've got, that's all anyone can ask for. And people ask me all the time what it takes to wage a successful comeback. It's simply it's simple, really. You have to want it. You have to keep winning, and you have to want it badly. You have to be determined to move closer to reaching your full potential, rather than let your goals slip away. And I just want to close by saying, people ask me what my favorite medal is. It's really not about the medal. I mean, obviously you're swimming to get a medal, but what I learned as I got older is it's about the road that took you there. It was about learning what made you be the best that you can be, because those medals are great, but that's not what defines me. It's what took me there to be the best that I can be. It's what I learned about it. And being an Olympic medalist wasn't just about my races at the Olympic Games. It was the thousands of races that led up to that one moment. Those that excel in the game, within the game, become great. Thank you.